14 or 15, I started mowing lawns for my neighbors and raking leaves and stuff like that. And just slowly over time, it started picking up. I love to be outside. I like to work with my hands. I like to create things. Like to get dirty. So I think between all that, it just kind of was natural for me.
Once you get a taste of the money you can make, you're thinking, well, I can probably mow more lawns and then eventually plant more bushes.
I'm at my parents' house. I'm running it out of their shed, basically. So I don't think they parked in their garage for about 4 or 5 years now, maybe.
If he hasn't done it before, he will try it. He will challenge himself to learn it. And I think that, you know, as people are asking you to do projects on your lawn, well, hey, can you put in a retaining wall? Well, I can learn that, you know, or can you put in a patio? Oh, I can learn that. And, you know, can you frame in this or do that? I can learn that. And that's the story of his life. Really, he came from good stock, and he was able to learn at a very early age how to become an entrepreneur. I think a lot because of his father and his business qualities.
A couple mentors for sure. My dad's definitely a big one. Our backdoor neighbor, he was a real good guy, and I think he was the first lawn that I mowed for, so he'd always stand out there and watch me do it. So it probably helped me do a little bit of a more quality job, I suppose. And then I think the biggest one probably, St. Joseph. He's a biblical figure, you know. I like just the fact that he's a worker, and his mission in life was so large that he's somebody to look up to for me.
His faith actually allows him, I think, to go to the next level. I think he moves beyond a lot of his peers, especially at early age. I mean, he was doing woodwork and he was landscaping very young, and I think it's because of his faith, because he believes all things are possible.
My goal is to just become a saint, so hopefully my example is a good one and people pick it up.
I attend a fathers group, a group for men, for fathers, and just to inspire guys to be better, faith-filled men. And Scott is probably one of our youngest members, and yet he's bringing in guys who are both old and young to our meetings. And I find it fascinating that this young guy, who most people might look at and say, hey, you don't have a lot of experience under your belt, he's the one that men of all ages respect, that is kind of the gravitational pull or the magnet that's bringing men into our group, into our apostolate. And I find it fascinating that these guys respect him even though he's only 20 years old.
It's just a constant desire to do my best at whatever I do. I suppose that's the fire behind it all. I'd rather be doing something that I really love to do than be making tons and tons of money doing something else.
I've had a problem for years of growing grass in my lawn. We used to have a sycamore tree, and nothing grew up there. And Scott was able, I've got a lawn that my neighbors are jealous of now. So he's able to do what I would consider the impossible when it comes to landscaping. So hardscaping, landscaping, just maintenance, he's really the guy. When he's happiest is when he's working. And he was hauling some rocks into our backyard. He was building a really beautiful patio and flagstone ramp for our handicapped daughter. And he's hustling with I don't know how many pounds of rock in this wheelbarrow, and he's smiling from ear to ear, and he's running behind the wheelbarrow. And it just shows that besides being talented, you know, besides being dependable, this guy loves his work. I mean, when he is working, he is happy.
If it's what you love to do, definitely do it. So, and there's always another way to get something done. So if it isn't gonna happen one way, you can always find another way.
Scott is as much about the people as he is about the project. And we've got people like that in your community thrives. You want to do work with them, they want to do work with you. And then, as we know, good relationships build great communities, and great communities, you know, actually can thrive. So I think when you got people like Scott at the heart of your community is gonna thrive.